Happy Monday morning, YouTube land. Guys, it's Brendan from Market Makers, your home for Wyckoff Advanced Fibonacci TA. Guys, after this video, I have my index video coming out. I'll be covering the Russell, the SPX, the NASDAQ. If you want to request individual stocks, you can do that in the YouTube comments on that video, such as Tesla. We can start looking at them for trade setups. And of course, I'll be covering the commodities. That's my background, was trading energy. So I want to share that TA with you. And I have a fantastic new exchange. The link will be in that new video. It is for trading the equities markets, okay? You can trade equities, commodities, Forex, and you can even trade some cryptos there. It is a CFD exchange. No KYC is necessary, VPN only, okay? I'll give you all the details in the next video, so definitely check that out. All right, and so on this video, guys, we're going to cover Bitcoin. The NASDAQ did pump up. And guys, just a reminder, our BITGET tournament is coming up. Private tournament available only if you use our link in the video description. $5,000 prize pool. It will be a lot of fun. We'll be playing on separate servers, and 5 people will win $1,000. So look forward to that as well. Definitely check out BitGet. Fantastic exchange to trade crypto on. No country restrictions. Only need an email. No VPN. All right, so let's talk about this. So let's flip over to NASDAQ really quickly because I do have the other video coming out on this, but you need to see this. So NASDAQ pumped up in pre-markets. You see this? NASDAQ pumped up, starting to roll down a little bit. So what did Bitcoin do, guys? Bitcoin also pumped up. My shock and surprise. I haven't been talking about this for over a month now, how it's going to follow the NASDAQ. So what we want to do here, guys, is look at the likely points of resistance. Remember, we are trading primary trend and counter trend, but always be aware of your primary trend, okay? Going back to Dow theory over 100 years ago. Primary trend is where you will get your largest movements. We are in a counter trend movement right now, so you can trade this. You can trade this successfully, but you have to be careful. You are assuming more risk. The macro downtrend, the primary trend is a downtrend, okay? So we're trading a counter trend now. We need to look at our peak resistance here on the weekly, and we're going to zoom into the smaller time frames as well. Looking here at the weekly, guys, so we have our 45 angle. We went over this yesterday. Watch the GAN fan video from Saturday if you want to know how to do these fans. We went over this yesterday, but 45 angle and geometric trading. Being below it is bearish, above it is bullish, right? So look, this is a weekly candle. If this was to come up, this is right about 35K. Start building confluences on your charts for where you're looking for potential shorts, where they could pop up, okay? So let's go ahead and map this out with the trend-based fib. Let's go to our swing low on the weekly, swing high down to our swing low. You can see the levels we've been talking about for a long time on this channel. The 382 at 31,185, which we currently have flipped. We need to hold it. 0.5, 32,991, 618, most commonly retraced to fib, lines up pretty closely with the 45. Start looking at other confluences. On the weekly, we can throw on the 21 EMA. You can see this is descending as well, okay? We're going to have impact here in this range if we can get this momentum to the upside. Lots of news is coming out this week. The CPI report will be out Friday morning at 8:30 Eastern time. We have a lot of different things happening. The Fed is raising rates. Looking at the correct year this time, 2022, June 10th, okay? June 10th is the CPI at 8:30 a.m. That is Friday. And then looking at looking at the Fed raising rates, the 14th and 15th of June, okay? So just keep all of that in your back pocket. Remember, if that CPI report comes out showing inflation is going down, which it doesn't matter what the report says. It doesn't necessarily mean the prices are coming down. But if it shows with the Fed's rigged metrics that inflation's coming down, you could see a big rally in the markets. You could. Nobody knows because the markets have been whipsawing back and forth, but we're going to focus on crypto here. So looking at this, the 618, 34,798, again, my key target, 21 descending, lots of resistance here, 45 as well, okay? So this quadrant is an area to pay attention to, and we need to pay close attention to it. And of course, if we did get more bullish, you guys know these numbers, 40,645 at the 1 fib, a 100% retracement of the move, means you're breaking the 45, which is you're going back into a bullish trend. If you can flip this, hit the 40,645, and of course, the ultimate target, the golden ratio phi, is at 50,104. Can it get there? It's a possibility. At this juncture, I don't think it's a probability, but it is a possibility, okay? Realistic targets are your lower retracement levels, and then this would be a really nice to have, the 40,645. We take this market in segments because this is how I make a living. I make a living trading. And I know a lot of you want to find financial freedom vis-a-vis trading, so always have realistic targets. Let's flip to the daily. Daily time frame, guys, you can see here on the daily, getting that cup pattern we talked about in your breakout candle, okay? We've talked about the cup pattern so many times. In Wyckoff structures, it's so important to look at a cup pattern to build a type of base, okay? And again, in basic TA, you're looking at your lows. Your low, your higher low. Keep in mind, this is a daily, so these are bigger movements in candles. And then your higher low, okay? So now we need this to come up and look exactly where it hit. I mean, look at the accuracy of the Gann fans, okay? This is what I love about angle trading. It hit the Gann fan on the dollar. You see that? Got rejected. It may come back down again, try to find support, and you may have to break out again. We'll look at this on the lower time frames, okay? The key thing is always expect retracements when you get pumps. How you handle the fall is what's important, okay? If you get rejected somewhere, how you handle that fall is extremely important. Let's look at our indicators here because I really want to focus on the more current, smaller time frame. But you can see the volatility is very flat, which has been for days. That hasn't changed. And again, this channel can quite expand. We are expecting a movement up in Bitcoin, and this is not it yet, my friends. Let's go ahead to the 8-hour time frame. 8-hour time frame, again, these fibs are carried over from the weekly, same targets, 31,185, 32,991, 34,798. Again, marveling at the accuracy here of the fan. Look how you held this support range. You see this? And you pumped up. Remember, we talked about this last week as well about, trading these wave formations. When you get cup type patterns like this, you can always break out trend trade this. You can do this in BITGET with trigger orders. This way, when price is down here and it's just, you don't know if it's going to fall down or pump up. If it falls down, it doesn't activate your order. If it pumps up, you can catch a nice little wave. But again, trading always has to be done with confluences. You need to see volume. You need to see momentum. What other indicators you guys use? As you can see, the volume here in the 8-hour time frame, it finally broke out above the moving average. This is not breakout volume. This is breakout volume. This is breakout volume, okay? If you use the advanced volume indicator from Fractal Trade 15, that's what this is. This is a moving average cloud, and the color intensities for volume as well. And these shadows are high relative volume, standard deviations away from trend, okay? Whatever the trend length you specify. He has another strategy on there as well called Volume Pocket. That's from Gabriel Morales. He's a William O'Neill disciple. You can buy his book and read about that or Google it. It's a different strategy as well. So trend or volatility channel did start to expand some. I want to see this get tighter like this. And the way it gets tighter is by price calming down and finding a base, okay? RSX is starting to wave up some. And what happened with the ATR? ATR came up some. Again, these are these little waves, right? We want to get this. This is what we want. A big wave to a point of rejection, and then you can trade the downfall as well. So right now, we're just trying to hold this base. We need to hold the 31,185. And again, you're going to get candles, okay? You're going to get candles, and you want to hold this as a base. Hopefully, you'll make some type of obvious cup type pattern like this again, and you'll be able to trade potentially this as well. Once we look at our volatility, it settles, and then on breakout volume, you can trade it up. Now, like I said, keep in mind, you are counter trend trading right now. So just be very well aware of the risk of counter trend trading because price in the macro downtrend, the primary trend is down, guys. Just always be aware of that, okay? So let's look at a couple other indicators here. Let's see what if Ichi's changed at all since our last video. 8-hour time frame. Trying to get up above the cloud. Okay, again, bullish, guys. I've been saying, I mean, you guys that have been watching this channel, we've been talking about this as bullish accumulation. And people don't understand. I see a lot of YouTubers just drawing this channel now, right? They're just drawing this channel. They're not calling it Wyckoff. They're not calling it accumulation. But that's what it is. That's why you have weakening of resistance. And the bias is always to accumulation after you have markdown in Wyckoff. When you have price descension, price does not move in straight lines. It doesn't just drop top to the base, and all of a sudden you're in a bull market. It goes in waves. So when you have the bias after markdown is accumulation, and there's steps to note this, okay? And you can learn this stuff, and it can help you trade and catch these types of trades that we've been talking about here on this channel, okay? Because you have your selling climax candle, bullish accumulation, holding higher low structure. This is the next step. Again, we failed here, right? We failed on our LPS. We didn't hold the support. Need to hold the support this time, and you can move up. And then this is how you have your targets with your fibs, with GAN fans. Guys, trading is not that difficult. The steps of it are not difficult. Mastering it, mastering your own emotions, that's what most people struggle with, right? In poker, we would call it going on tilt. Any of you that played poker back in the poker heyday, full tilt poker, when you're going on tilt, you're just angry. How could that guy possibly beat me? You're shoving every pot. You're making horrible decisions. People do the same thing in trading. There's a reason there's so many engineers in this space, right? My background is software engineer. And there's so many engineers in this space because it's very robotic. You need to be mathematical, robotically inclined, have a system that works for you, whether it's harmonic trading, Elliott wave, trading with Wyckoff and fibs, trading with GAN concepts, and then stick to your system and make unbiased decisions. Don't do the hopium. Don't do the everything's falling apart thing. If you want to trade, you have to look at the market agnostically. You have to be able to look at the market and say to yourself, okay, well, I think the macro market is going down, but this is bullish. And this is how you catch these trades, guys. If you only view the market up to 250K, you're never going to catch these massive downfalls. If you only view the market down, you're never going to catch the waves up. And trust me, there will be some big waves up in this market. This is not it yet, but there will be some big waves up in this market. And that's why we trade crypto, for the volatility. You want the volatility. That's how you make money as a trader. All right, that's my lecture. Let's go ahead. This is like a combination of philosophy and psychology and trading. Let's go ahead to the 4 hours, see what we got here. So 4 hour time frame. Only have two indicators on this one because this is what you need to see. Volume. Now when you scale down in time frame, you can see this was breakout volume here, okay? When you have breakout volume above trend and you start to make a top, that means you're rolling over. You see this? Because this candle should go up higher, but instead it's getting some supply dumped on it, which is expected. You're at the 0.5 fib, just underneath the 618. Now what I did on the 4 hour time frame, I didn't carry over the weekly wave, okay? What I did here, you can see on my trend-based fib, because I liked how this laid out. I on my trend-based fib, I threw the wave projection down here at this candle, May 26, on the 4 hour time frame, up to my swing high, down to my swing low, and it was tracking beautifully here at the 0.5. This candle was below it, and it's pumped back up above it. We'll see how it tracks. So this is a current wave projection versus a larger wave projection. You always want to know where you are with price, okay? And then you can see we finally flipped the kiss of death, right? There's our 200 moving average we've been talking about. We flipped it since last video, again off of this pump, and again, if you trend traded this off this cup breakout, just like we've been talking about, you're basically, your Wyckoff ceiling was your breakout line, okay? And of course, you could always get more adventurous if you just thought this was bullish, but you got to have indicators that show you it's bullish. And if you were paying attention here, what is this, midnight? Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are probably in bed on the East Coast, but you got the pump candle, right? But this is how you can look when you see that you're tracking bullishly in a bullish Wyckoff structure. You eventually will get a breakout. And if you utilize a trigger order, my favorite method for trading when you can't pay attention to the screen all day long, protects you from the downfalls, okay? But this is where we are now. The 233 is descending. And again, this is just a current wave structure. This is not as powerful as a macro wave structure. We do have volatility expansion on the 4 hour, which means this should start rolling over. This should start rolling over, and again, needs to hold our base, okay? And here with this current wave projection, you're looking at 30,888. So basically, staying on top of this makes sense, right? So this is coming down. You need to stay on top of that fib, stay on top of the 200 and the 4 hour time frame. This should start to roll over some. It might be a little bit more shallow. Maybe you can make your base up here in a 0.5 if you're lucky. And then you want to see projection back up because you're going to need it to fight the 233. Let's go ahead and get rid of these drawings. And let's see what we got here, guys. Let's look at our, let me look at my zigzag channels. That doesn't help. I got too many lines on the screen for that. Let me look at my GAN levels here as well. 31,600. You see this? 31,600. You got rejected from it. You're below it. Again, a lot of the GAN levels will line up closely with fib wave projections. You can trade with fib retracements too. Again, all these concepts are taught in our Discord. If you want to join our Discord, the join button right underneath the video description, so you can learn some different methods of trading. We got a lot of different methods there, and you can find your edge. You can find what works best for you. And let's look at our cloud, and then we can wrap this up. Just about 15 minutes in. So 4 hour, this is good. You're pumped up through the cloud, and because you pumped up through the cloud, you see what you're doing here in cloud trading? You are building a fatter support cloud. Again, this angle will go up. You have this channel to trade in here vis-a-vis the GAN fan, assuming you can hold it as a support line, which you did beautifully here, okay? So you have this channel. We'll see how this holds up. And again, we need more candles, but look for this to roll over, maybe on the 0.5. Definitely want to hold that 3D2 at 30,888 on this more current wave projection. Very important to do so, okay? And then we can look for the volatility to flatten, and especially track those larger time frames, because remember, smaller time frames make the move. 4 hour made the move, has its volatility expansion. Check the 8 hour. Is the 8 hour contracted? Check the daily. We already know the daily is contracted. The move will cycle up. We got to see what happens this week. Another video coming tomorrow on Bitcoin. Check out my video on the indexes and stocks and commodities that's coming out next. Appreciate your support, guys. Have a great Monday. Talk to you guys soon.